Europa. A moon made of ice that rotates around Jupiter. In the event that you were to enter this frozen world, you would be converted into a popsicle that resembled an astronaut. The atmosphere would be so intense that it would make you feel as if you had lost your breath. Without a doubt. The atmosphere of Europa is so thin that it is almost non-existent. This is because Europa has an incredibly thin atmosphere. In addition, despite the fact that it is mostly made up of oxygen, this oxygen does not make it possible for you to breathe. As a result of the incredibly low pressure that is present in this environment, it is simply not possible for you to take a breath of it. Additionally, this ice kingdom is hiding a sinister mystery from the world. There is a possibility that life is hidden quite a distance beneath the heavy layer of ice that covers the area. The amount of sunlight that Europa receives is significantly lower than that which we receive because Europa is situated 5 times further away from the Sun than Earth is. It is likely that the extraordinary brightness is due to the frozen surface of Europa. The entire mass of ice produces a significant amount of reflection. As a consequence of this, in addition to the atmosphere that is almost non-existent, the light could have a very harsh sensation. Wearing the protective tinted visor is all that is required of you in order to guarantee that your eyes will continue to be healthy. In a great number of respects, Europa is quite comparable to Earth. If the Earth were fully covered in ice, if there was no atmosphere, and if there were no oceans that were interesting to look at, then the Earth would be a boring place to live. There is no question that you would require a layer of exceptional thermal insulation to be incorporated into your suit in order to maintain your body temperature. A surface temperature of around -145 degrees Celsius, -230 degrees Fahrenheit, is considered to be the temperature of Europa. It is also possible that the temperature will fall to -220 degrees Celsius, which is equivalent to -364 degrees Fahrenheit. In addition to that, it is exposed to ultraviolet light. There is a correlation between Europa's orbital proximity to Jupiter and this phenomenon. In addition, Jupiter is equipped with a massive magnetic field that has the capacity to enclose a significant number of high-energy particles within its protective perimeter. In order for your spacesuit to be able to withstand that as well, it would be required. Jupiter is home to 4 moons, and Europa is one of the 4 moons that holds the title of largest. There is a slight disparity in size between it and our moon, but it is a great deal more magnificent than our moon. The primary reason for this is that it possesses the capacity to provide a home for living things. Upon closer inspection, it seems to be devoid of any obvious signs of life. If I'm being completely honest, it seems to be the case. There are 3 basic elements that must be present on any planet in order for there to be viable life. At the very beginning, there is water in its liquid state. On the other hand, Europa possesses a significant amount of that. Furthermore, the Galileo mission, which was launched by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and orbited Jupiter for a period of 8 years, made some observations regarding Europa. Researchers have arrived at the conclusion that this moon has twice as much water as all of the oceans on Earth combined. This result was reached based on the data that was collected. Due to the fact that they are not situated on the surface, these enormous oceans are not visible to the naked eye. The location of these rocks can be found deep within the icy crust that covers Europa. In light of this, we may now go on to the subsequent component that is essential for existence. It is vital. The fundamental source of energy for life on Earth is the energy that is derived from the Sun. Europa, on the other hand, represents a distinct circumstance. To begin, Europa is situated at such a big distance from the Sun. This is the primary cause. Furthermore, if there is life on Europa, it is quite probable that we would find it beneath the ice, where there is no sunlight at all. This is the second reason. The energy that Europa possesses comes from the impacts of tidal heating, which acts as a source of energy. Anything that can be traced to Jupiter is included under this category. The enormous gravity exerted by the planet with the greatest mass in the solar system is, in fact, constantly exerting pressure on Europa, which results in the ice on Europa bulging and splitting. As a consequence of this, friction is generated, and the existence of friction causes the moon that is contained within to become heated. The deep ocean of Europa does not freeze over for the same reason that the oceans of the rest of this frozen world do, according to this explanation. In the same way that hydrothermal vents can be found on Earth, it is feasible that they can also be located on the ocean floor of Europa. It is possible that the heat, energy, and chemicals that are released by these vents have the capability of producing an atmosphere that is suitable for human habitation in the area surrounding them. Lastly, the components that make up the chemical composition are essential for the existence of life. Components that are responsible for the majority of biological phenomena include carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. These are the materials that make up the majority of biology. Furthermore, according to the data that we obtained from Europa, this moon is in possession of all of those things. Despite this, it is a well-known truth that no one has ever traveled to Europa in order to do this verification. These are the cryovolcanoes that are present on Europa, and they are quite well known. The eruptions of these volcanoes do not result in the emission of lava, rather, they include the release of water and ice. The thickness of this ice seems to be fairly high. Certainly, you would have to drill through it in order to go through it. To add insult to injury, you would need specialist equipment. For instance, a high-performance drill that is built to function in extremely cold situations, is powered by a portable nuclear generator, is lightweight, and comes equipped with a heating mechanism, and a sample retrieval system is an example of such a drill. You will not be able to see any kind of life with your own eyes, which is an incredibly unusual occurrence under any circumstances. Due to the fact that, if there is any life at all, it is most likely found in very minute quantities. If, on the other hand, you are able to collect a sample of that salty water, you will be able to inspect it and search for any indications of the presence of microorganisms that might be present. The quantities of radiation that are present on Europa are substantial. However, even if you were wearing your spacesuit, you would still have symptoms such as headaches, nausea, and dizziness if you were exposed to radiation. These are just some of the symptoms that you might experience. All of that was accomplished in the short amount of time that was spent on this moon, which was only a few hours. This exposure will result in your death if you do not promptly return to your insulated spaceship. If you do not do so, you will be killed. If you were to be exposed to the harsh conditions of Europa without the full protection of a suit, you would only have a few minutes to make it to a safe spot before you would be in danger. The severe frostbite that could occur in just 1 minute would cause damage to your exposed skin. Within the first 2 minutes, you would begin to shiver. Here comes hypothermia. After another 10 minutes, you would lose consciousness and eventually lose your life to freezing.